Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Melanated and Educated with Dr. Jey and
The one and only Dr. P.
what's up, Dr. P? How's it going? We in this virtual space, so it's like, just gotta check on everybody, see how everybody doing, how you feeling, all that kind of stuff. You good?
You
You
know,
good?
I got two kids now, so it ain't like one at all. So I'm good though. We straight.
Good, good,
What
good.
about you?
I'm doing good. Moving. The headache of the century, but like my new place. So it's going great. Still have two doctoral students that I'm doing dissertation coaching for. Everything's going crazy where I work because it's orientation season for all the new students starting in the summer this past Monday. And now we're working on the ones that are starting in the fall in August. Yay! So doing presentations and stuff on campus, running around like a crazy person on every single subcommittee, of course. So booked and busy, I like to say. Sound like you booked and busy too.
Literally booked and busy. And then June is a busy month for me. Like my son is born June 9th.
Yeah.
I have my wedding anniversary June 22nd. My wife's birthday is June 25th. My wife's best friend is on the 22nd as well, so we celebrate him. So it's just like I'm tired, boss. I'm
So,
broke.
so you tired and got no money in your pocket. That what you trying to tell me? Like it's just lint up in there. That's what you.
Temporarily. I mean, I always got money, but it's not
Oh,
how I'm
oh,
used to it.
oh, oh! Come on, investments. Come on here. Come on here.
Exactly.
Savings. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's gonna be another episode. So today, the title of this episode is to degree or to not degree. That is the question. Oh, we talking about black folks. No, you gotta go to college. What are y'all talking about? What if y'all have doctoral degrees? Clearly, you're gonna say you want to go to college. You need to, and it's a must. Clearly, that's what we're gonna say. Not necessarily. So we're gonna get into it. I like to ask questions, and that's how we get the things flowing. So, what I wanted to ask you, Dr. P, because last time we talked about how you went to a major university in Florida, then a community college, then back to a major university in the United States. And one of the things that I caught that you said was I always knew from really young that I wanted to go to Florida State. And so I understand that sentiment, especially growing up in a black church. We had actually had a scholarship committee that took us on college tours. And our pastor literally said, if you graduate from high school and when, let me take the if back, when you graduate from high school, because that wasn't an option, being
Be
in the
clear.
choir or anything else in the church, when you graduate from high school, you're going to college, a community college or a university. It might not fit, but try it on for size at least for a year. That was the words that he would say from the pulpit. So from like 8 coming upstairs singing in children's church, we heard that message whenever he was talking about uplifting black Americans, uplifting everybody in the church and our youth. It was, you're going to college of some sort, end of discussion. At least try it for a year. So I was wondering, because you have your background in the church too, and we kind of have similar backgrounds, what was the discussion or the thoughts that went in your head that made you say off rip, hey, no question, I'm going to college/university?
Yeah, so like I said previously, I don't have, well, at the time I didn't have family that went to college, so it wasn't something that was like you have to do this kind of thing. But my mom did make the decision that just from early on, like these are my last two boys. I got the rest of y'all, my older brothers through high school. She was like, but y'all need to go to college kind of thing. And then also just I my mom always made us go to summer school. Like and I just thought that was like a normal thing to go to summer school. So I went to school pretty much year round, so it's just like a thing. So that made me like school as well. And then I used to watch Different World growing up, and so I was just like,
Yes.
oh, college, like this can actually be fun. Like I want to do this. Um, and when I was talking about like Florida State, and I always wanted to go there. Like I used to watch the football team, and they always like did like similar things every game. I just like the tradition about the university, and so that really made me like just like have a heart to go to Florida State. And when I finally got there, I was just like, this is my home. Like me and you must never. So like literally, when I got to Florida State, I was just like, yes, this is my home. But from my mom deciding like, okay, y'all the last two boys, y'all got to go to college kind of thing, and then watching Different World. And I mean, when I went to high school, it was they asked those questions like, hey, are you guys thinking about college? These are the different options and stuff like that.
Okay, so at your high school, they literally ask, "What's your next plans?" Like the
Yeah,
guidance counselors and stuff.
yeah,
Okay, that's very important because I found with a lot of students, if they don't get it from home, especially if they're first gen, it was someone at their high school or someone at their church that
right.
planted that seed. So that's a very good point, and I'm glad you brought that up. And again, being first gen myself, now my aunt, my father's sister, she actually did go to Purdue, but we never talked about school like that. Our relationship was more like best friends because everybody always used to say I look like her, and people didn't think my mom was my mom until they saw my mom. Was like, okay, well, you must look like your dad and your mom, because when you're with your aunt, I think you look like her. That's your mama. And then when you're with your real mama, I think you look like her. But I kind of, to toot my own horn, toot, always excelled in school. Like that was just a
Hmm.
thing for me. My first B that I got was in seventh grade. And remember, the program that I was in for seventh, eighth grade was freshman year because we did seventh through 12th grade. And so your seventh and eighth grade was really your freshman year in high school because
Hmm.
the specialized program at three high schools in Chicago: Whitney Young, Morgan Park, and Kenwood. And so I had to take a Scantron test to get into kindergarten from my elementary school. I then had to take, yeah, and I then had to take a test to get into Whitney Young for the seventh and eighth grade program. So there was never a time in my life that education wasn't the thing. And my mom, she had a few courses left for college and she just didn't finish it. And I kind of made it a promise to myself in her stead and for myself, like, I'm going to go, I'm going to do it in 4 years, I'm going to finish it, and I'm
Hmm.
going to be the first person in my immediate family to get a degree. And then, of course, back then, this was 90s, early 2000s, like the push was, if you want a good job and you want to come out making 50, 60, 70, you need a college degree. That's just like
Hmm.
where the world started pushing. And jobs that before you can get with a high school diploma, walk in off the street, have a good talk game, they were like, but your bachelor's though. Where are the papers?
Yeah.
Especially for melanated people. Some people might be able to get away with it a little bit back then, but it was like a big push for, you got to go to college to get that piece of paper. And then
Hmm.
I think, Dr. P, in our community, especially, one of the things that we hold dear is education, because in the beginning we couldn't go
Yeah.
to college.
That's
Then we made our own. Then when segregation ended, they kind of made it like, well, you don't even need to have that anymore because you can come to any school, even though they still weren't letting us in at high
right.
percentages. And so there's always still a need for the HBCU. And, people who are melanated started attending PWIs. We explained last time that was predominantly white institutions, but they also found a place in a home in the HBCUs because they were FUBU, for us, by us. And
Yeah.
remember, HBCU is historically Black college or university. And so, like I said earlier, too, my church had a big impact on it. There's a scholarship committee at my church, and it's made up of principals and superintendents in Chicago. And so, like at church, you got your ushers, you got your people there in the choir, you got your prayer, yeah. You got your
Like the singer.
prayer leaders and your praise and worshipers. We had a scholarship committee, and that was their contribution in the church. And so we literally had people coming in every Sunday once you became a junior in high school. doing
Wow.
seminars and talking to us about SATs, ACTs, take both of them, showing us and playing videos from different schools across the country, having someone come in that was one of their colleagues talking about different majors that you can explore. And the mantra at my church was, "Oh, you going to college? You, that was not a question." And
Not an option not to go.
yeah, absolutely. And then, on the side, it was kind of like, I guess if you want to go to the military, we okay with that. We can't say we don't want you to serve the country.
Right.
But when you get out, make them pay for your college. That's
Well, while you in there, make them pay for
exactly
that
take some
thing.
exactly. So, I feel the same way. It's so funny because my high school, looking back on it, was such a culminating experience, such a nurturing experience. We had like over 180 different clubs, and my school was big on education, but it was really big on the arts and big on making your CV or personal statement, and experiences in your classes, the building blocks to get an acceptance letter to the highest caliber of college or university that you can get. And so it was
Yeah.
like, yes, you're going to be smart, but you're also going to dance, or you're also going to sing, you're also going to swim, you're also
Right.
going to cheer. It was very much, you need 2 to 3 extracurriculars to go with these grades, because
Right.
you're going to college and you're going to university. So I didn't know any different. And I was in the FAMU club in my high school. We had a FAMU club, and we actually came
So
to Tallahassee
destined.
exactly and toured. And the great thing that went along with that was the graduates that were the year before us, because you go your senior year, they were at FAM. And so then we matched up with graduates that were in the majors, or at least in the college or school that we were planning on attending. So we stayed in the dorm with them or wherever they stayed on campus. We went to class with them. I actually answered a question while I was on the tour in one of the business classes. And the professor was like, "You're not in this class." And I was like, "No, I'm still in high school." He was like, "Well, we'll see you when you get back." So I was
Right.
really getting like, "Oh, I could do this thing. I could do this thing." So that leads me to my next question, Dr. P. Okay, you had the fervor inside of you. You had the dream. You were like, "I like the traditions. I like Osceola. I like when they do the chop." Oh, that's probably one and first and last time you ever gonna see me do that.
It
um,
ain't gonna be.
Wait, let me fix it real quick. Okay, I feel better. FAMU. Um,
The emotion though.
whatever. What, even though it was inside of you that said you're going to college and this is what you want to do, what made you know that you could do it?
Um, I don't know. I feel like it's just a mixture of things. Like I was saying, just I've always been in school from as long as I can remember. From going during the daytime, well, not daytime, but like going during the regular school time, going during summer. Like I put myself in punishment when I got like a C. It's like, oh no 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 no, you playing too much. Like you need to get back in the books. Like my mom never punished me for my grades. Like I did it all on my own. Um,
I cried 3 weeks since I got a B. That B I got in seventh grade, I cried for 3 weeks and I said to my mom, "B is for bad." And on the
I
third week,
mean,
Vita
B's
looked
get
at
degrees too though. B's get degrees too.
listen,
But I get it though. Like that, I beat myself up for the one
my
C,
mama was like, "You
that one class.
crying for this B, Jessica." And here's a bad thing, Polak. It was on the interim progress report. It wasn't even the grade that actually counted. It was the one in between, and I still
So it was a progress, not even the actual report card.
it was the progress report.
Get out of here.
But
You
I get what you're
you tripping
saying.
hard.
Like school was like, oh no, school, yeah, that's what we
Yeah.
do.
And then my faith too, as well. Like I would say, just my upbringing in the church and having that belief in myself and knowing that God would be by my side through it all, like that definitely helped me. And even like when I got to the PhD, when I wanted to quit, literally my faith is what helped me to get through it. Like, cause I quit by fifth, 11 times in the PhD.
Ooh,
Um,
ooh, that
but
part.
yeah, definitely my faith. Definitely going to school, like just year round, basically, except for Christmas time, and then also just having a mom and a dad who just had faith in me, and then also just like push me, like you got it, you smart, like you just always constantly encouraging me. So I would say those top three things.
I think
What
that
about you?
I think that is so true. My mom, since she didn't finish, she kind of was like, and she saw that that's the way I was going, especially because of the way that my grades were. And then I ended up getting a tuition and fees scholarship. Like, she was like, "Oh no, you're going. Absolutely. You can do this." And then, even back to that scholarship committee at church, one of the things we got to do was, Polak, Dr. P, was you got to turn in your report card to the scholarship committee at the end of every year. And then they would look over it. If you didn't have any checks and you were on the AB honor roll, you got to go out to the steakhouse for dinner for free with the pastor. So that
Oh,
was like a big
he's
thing. They would
he
take the
got
church bus.
money.
What? They would take the church bus. And so it became a thing. Like, you would see after church, you knew when report cards came out, because you would see all the kids like running around trying to find a scholarship committee person. Like, can you look at my report card real quick? Real quick, can you look at it and then mark me down and put my name on the list? And so then you would be calling, like, you put my name on the list, right? I'm on the list. Okay, okay. You be checking,
Good,
and
right?
then in children's church they would come down, or youth church, they would come down and they would be like, okay, next Monday is dinner with pastor. The following students get to go. And you like, Jessica Allen. I'm in that thing.
And then even with that too, I feel like it's like a sense of competitiveness. Like I, with my younger brother, he's a year younger than me. We competed like with everything from sports to academia, like just everything. And so, just going through elementary, middle school, high school, like with him right behind me,
Yeah.
he's like, "Well, I got all A's," and I'm like, "I'm for the get A's too." You know what I'm saying? Like
Okay.
I'm for to make the A B honor roll. I'm for to make straight A's. And so like we always like just push each other. I'm like, you're not smarter than me. I'm older than you, so I know a year more than you do. So yeah, definitely the competitiveness. Now that I'm thinking about that more.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when you considered, well, I guess I would say, how early did you consider what major you wanted to choose? Or let me better say, what career path you wanted to choose? And was that also something that played into the fact that you needed to go to college? Because I know last time we talked about that later on, once we were already in it, people said to us, hey, if you really want to teach, now it's not master's anymore. Now you have a doctorate. So that's one of the reasons why both of us got pushed, like, okay, you need those three stripes on your robe, because ultimately, in some capacity, at some point in time, even if you go around and do other stuff, you want to come back to having the ability
Yeah.
to teach on the collegiate level. So, what career did you have in mind, if you had one? And then, did that push you also toward a degree? Because it definitely pushed me.
So
But I
I
thought I
have
would be a bunch of things, so we're gonna talk about that too.
an interesting story of how I got to my final degree.
Okay.
I actually went to the School of the Arts for high school.
Oh,
And I love entertainment, I love performing, I love singing, all of those
let
different
me stop
things.
right here. What Dr. P's not gonna tell you is that he was a background dancer too. Continue. School of the Arts.
Just had to put that in there. Anyway, like I said, I love just, you know, the entertainment side of things.
Yes.
And so I went to the performing arts, like I was the first class chartering the school.
Oh,
So like there were no freshmen. Or there were no upperclassmen when I started school for high school. I was the freshmen and the upperclassmen at the same time, and then students came in after us. So, just acting, and I'm like, okay, the logical side of me is like, well, you need to have something to fall back on, kind of
Yes,
thing.
that's it right there.
And I was like, okay, I had a class where I really enjoyed. It was psychology, and I was like, oh, I like this. Like, this is easy. It just comes natural to me. Like, I love, how the mind works and all those different things. And then I was like, this can be very helpful with acting because you can like kind of figure out your different roles and things like that based on personality and their psychology, their background, how that contributes and stuff like that. So that can help you get into character.
Right.
And so that's how I ended up deciding psychology as my major. So I'm like, okay, if acting doesn't work, I at least have psychology to fall back on. And like with psychology, you can do a lot of different things. You can be managers. You can do like if you wanted to go to school, be a psychologist. All those different things. I was like, okay, I'll do that. Um, so then I pursued psychology. I loved it a lot, but then it shifted again when I was in college. Like I love Spanish as well, and so
Right.
my teacher at the time was just like, "Yo, like if you really want to become fluent, like you got to teach it." And
Hmm.
so that's how I went into teaching. I was like, I'm really good at you know like breaking stuff down because I used to help people with math. I used to help people with science,
Same.
even though that wasn't my best subject. With spelling, like I was the cousin that I was in like middle school. No, matter of fact, I was in elementary helping my cousins and my brother with their high school math.
Yes, same.
So like I've always been, like involved with, education and helping people and helping break it down. And so I was like, okay, it's teaching. I do love language. Um, we'll go from there. Decided to do foreign language teaching, and the rest was history from there. It wasn't quite where I thought I was gonna go with it, but I'm like, okay, I kind of incorporate the acting part with my students because literally it's a big performance.
Absolutely.
Like, cause I'm a very quiet, not shy, but like very just like laid back, chill kind of person. But in class, you
Come
can't do that.
alive.
Like
Yeah.
because your classes will be boring.
Right.
Students are not going to be engaged. And so I saw it as okay, for each class, it's a performance. Like, I
Wow.
gotta be outgoing, I gotta be like funny, making jokes,
Right.
but then also still being myself.
Yeah.
So that's how I incorporated the acting. And then with the psychology, I need to know how to manage these jokers. So I'm like, okay, he's probably acting out because of this reason, or um, this is how I can build like community, like with the theories and stuff that I've learned in psychology. And so I kind of like meshed all of that together um, into teaching.
I would totally agree. Mine is a little more varied, is and it's probably gonna sound crazy. So I like animals a lot, but I like them too much. So I wanted to be a veterinarian at first. And so, because I like bugs, salamanders, all that, everything, all of them. And the whole thing was though, like you can't be doing surgery on a dog or a cat and crying. You know what I'm saying? Because I would
No, you
be too
can't.
hurt, and I would be like, "Who did this?" And they would be like, "Dr. Allen's scalpel." Somebody wipe my face because I can't see. So I was like, maybe we shouldn't do that. And then I like working with my hands. And my aunt is an engineer. So I was like, okay, maybe I want to do engineering because I used to put stuff together with her all the time. She's an electrical engineer. And then I was like, calculus 1 through 4 sounds horrible. No, next option, please. So I sing too, like you do. And so then I was like, okay, what about the singing route? And I was like, fame and fortune sounds great, but even though I have an outgoing personality, I do have a shy side. It's kind of like, you want to put yourself out there to just be eaten alive by the public and never be able to go to a restaurant and eat a burger and fries again with a guy that you might be talking to by yourself without the paparazzi saying y'all gonna get married in 3 minutes. Yeah, About
Right.
that. So I think I'm gonna sing at church on Sundays when people ask me to come to their program. I'll do that
Basically.
too, you know. And I mean, you know, as long as you're alive, there's no point in time where you can't revisit doing all of those aspects of yourself or coming back to them in some way. And I think that for people like us, which is gonna lead me to my next question, having varied skills and talents, it can be hard to narrow those things down to point yourself in a direction. But one of the important things I know that we've discussed with our students when we're advising is the earlier that you can give yourself a direction, the better, because that actually determines to degree or to not degree. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you want to go into a trade, which, hey, and sometimes out here, it's making more money than people with the degrees. Let's not play with it. A plumber,
For real,
a
for real.
sanitation engineer,
Bus drivers,
lighting specialists, these people who do construction and contracting and all of those things, mechanics,
male people, like
and are
all of it.
making bank. And so, like, one of the biggest things that I hope you get out of this session is that you need to kind of get a mindset or a goal or a direction, and that will help you decide whether you want to get a degree or not, or whether you should get a degree or not. Also, I think it's important to be, you know, honest with yourself. I think it's so wonderful that in our welcome session you went through the steps that you took, that it wasn't a straight path like we talked about last time of
Mm-hmm.
you going to Florida State. And so there might be some ebbs and flows in you getting to college or to a university. I like to tell everybody, because again, I'm an educational bully, until you pass away, whenever you get that degree, you'll be that degree holder until you gone back to see Jesus. So if you wake up at 42 and say, hey, I want to go to medical school, and you do all the stuff to get to medical school, when you graduate, you're going to be a doctor from that age until you go into the ground. So it's
Into
never too
football.
late. And some things don't require it. Like, there are a lot of positions or jobs that are like hustle sports. Like, I ended up doing business for the same reason why you did psychology. I was like, look, I got a 4-year scholarship. Everybody need a business person that can, you know,
Right.
reach to anywhere. I could couple that with a whole bunch of different things as far as masters. And I didn't even know about the doctorate at that point, but getting a degree in business is a solid decision. You know, and in the 90s, people were coming out with bachelors in business getting 60, 70, $80,000 jobs. So I was like, okay, MBA program, let's do it. You know, a lot of things came easy to me.
Right.
And I think that that's a thing that really needs to be focused on. If a lot of things come easy to you, you really need to kind of like sit down and decide what you're going to do. And that will let you know if you need to get a degree or not. Some of our students, especially like in journalism, you know, after they get their bachelor's, some of them are like, well, should I get a master's? And it's kind of like, unlike business where you can graduate and then get your diploma and then go into a standard 9 to 5, 8 to 5, whatever, 60, 70, 80 hour a week job, for
Mm-hmm.
journalism or like sports management, it's a hustle sport. So you have to get out there and you really have to, you know, network, maybe go to a, you know, small town and get on the air there or start your producing there, and then try to get into the industry, know people. Same thing with physical therapy, occupational therapy, you know, being a psychologist. If you go and get your master's and then your doctorate, you can open up your own clinic in that corner that you in right now. You know what I'm saying? And start you
Very
a
true.
client base, and, you know, no muss no fuss. But in order to get your name on something, if you're writing, if you're trying to be in broadcast journalism, if you're trying to do something with, you know, in sports or something like that, even being like a physical trainer, if you want to do something in health and leisure fitness, like after you get that degree, you still need to be out there hustling. So sometimes if you can network your way into something, you may not need to get a degree. However, comma, please know that if you are melanated, having a degree can make a lot of things a lot easier, where people have to respect
Right.
your gangsta and your name, because as we know, and most of us have been told since we, have been growing up since about age 5, 6, a little earlier, if you could understand earlier, we have to be 10 times better because we melanated to get
Yes.
the same things that non-melanated people do in the majority of spaces. Now, of course, it has gotten better, but yet we are thriving and climbing to get to the point where we're given equal access in all spaces,
Because
and
what was
we are
that
supposed
phrase we
to
used
sit
to
on our
say?
benefit.
You have to be 10 times better to get 2 times less. And I think this generation, like, oh, no, I don't want two
Exactly.
times less. No, I
Exactly.
want the same or more. Matter
Exactly.
of fact, more.
Right.
Like,
And
it even goes
so,
down with the TikTokers. They're like, oh, really? You for to make money from dance I created?
right.
Yeah, we go did it.
I just saw that article and just saw a commercial on it on Instagram. Like that is such a big thing, people taking what we know, what we do, what we're good at, and then doing a weaker version of it, but having the access to the spaces to get more eyes on it and monetizing it. And a lot of times
Right.
you will find that being melanated, you having that paper will get you in that space that other person who's not melanated was just able to walk in, and it was the paper that got you in the door to even be seen, to be able to show what you're good at doing.
Yeah.
And so, we're not saying, because we're not giving advice, just giving our experiences, which gives us some at least anecdotal level of expertise. Everything does not require a degree. If you feel
Mm-mm.
like a degree is not what you want to do, find a trade that you are good at. If you're good with your hands, you can definitely go into a trade. If you're good with braiding, I mean, I'm seeing on Instagram 5 year olds and 7 year olds like pumping out plaits, twists, flips, everything. And I'm like, if you don't get that baby to cosmetology school,
Yeah.
now babe, maybe after she starts up and gets some clientele, she might want to take some business classes just so she
Right.
know what to do with her money, how to save and all that kind of things. Men too in that space, highlights and doing all kind of stuff, making clothes. I saw a young guy in high school and he was making prom dresses for the girls at his school. He might not need to go to a university. He might want to go to a community college or to a specialized institution for the trade of fashion design.
Right.
Dancers, if you want to be a dancer, yeah, you can go to college and get a 4 year degree in dance, or you can perfect yourself and go and try to get in Juilliard, which is a little different from a college or a university. It's like a conservatory. If you're a singer, same thing. You can get your bachelor's and your master's in music. Or you might just have that raw talent where you meet the right person at the right time, give them, well, we don't do tapes no more. Slide them your demo stream on iCloud or whatever you gonna do,
Nothing.
or show them your video you did on TikTok or on Instagram, and boom, bam, you're in there. You know what I'm saying? And so we want to make sure that we encourage everybody to explore all of their options, every single one of their options. However, comma, again, you can always have a fallback plan and get you an associate's, get you a bachelor's. You might not go to the master's. I'm gonna push you if I can, or go to the doctoral level. But the thing that I think makes me an educational bully in that way in the educational space is people can't take that from you. People
Nope.
cannot take that from you. That is documented. I don't know if Dr. P did, but we had an option to copyright our dissertation. I have that piece of paper from the U.S. Patent Office that says that my dissertation and my work, my intellectual property is mine. So you can take everything else away, strip me from whatever, but you cannot take those diplomas. You cannot take my copywritten material, and so it's a sense of pride. Also, I like to tell people all the time, man, and I don't know if this was the case for you, Dr. P, the real difference between my master's level work and my doctoral level coursework was not that big. It was
No.
really the doctoral. If you're going to stick and stay and you're going to do this dissertation, if you're going to stick in the mud and, like you said earlier, every time that you want to quit, pull yourself up, talk to some people, have people in your corner saying, hey, yes, you can do this. No, no, you're not going to stop. I'm in the trenches with you. Yes, I know you're tired. Bring you some coffee, get on GoPuff and something show up at your door and you got 5-hour energy drinks and some chips. One of your sorority sisters sent you a fraternity brother, stopped by your office and was like, hey, man, how your PhD going? And that pushed you to keep going or whatever. You know, it was, yes, the 3 years of coursework, but it was like, okay, now instead of a 10-page paper, now maybe your papers are 18 and 20 pages. But the level of information went like from here to here, not like from here to here as far as the
Right.
coursework. It was that dissertation and those courses that you took on qualitative or quantitative dissertation focus that was really the difference between the master's and the doctorate. And so, you know, just because you have a doctoral degree does not mean that you just out here brilliant, you're a genius, any of that. It just meant that you knew how to stick and stay
Right.
and see it
That's
through
correct.
to the end and let those people, your village, encompass themselves around you and hold you up on those times where it was like, man, I'm about to give up, I can't do this, I'm about to be out. And they like, nah, nah, nah. And then in your case, probably like your brother, you know, when went started getting my doctoral degree, my sister, who's the position older than me because I'm the baby of four, was like, man, you really inspired me, I'm gonna go back and get my master's degree. Then it's like, I can't give up now. My doggone big sister just was like, hey, yo, I'm about to get a master's because you're getting your doctorate and you really set a
Right.
precedent. All right, let's do this thing.
Yep.
Let's do this
I'll
thing.
keep
Let's do this
going.
thing. All right, we got to keep going. We got to keep going. One thing I wanted to mention, and I think that you all probably noticed, is that, you know, we got a little red and blue going on. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's a little perk that comes from going to a 4-year university and or getting a degree. So,
Yeah.
as you can see, Dr. P and I are both in Black Greek letter organizations that fall under the National Panhellenic Council. National Panhellenic Council has 9 member organizations, and we are in 2 of those organizations. We call it the NPHC for short, or the Divine Nine. As we know right now, our wonderful vice president is a member of a Divine Nine organization, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. And so I am a proud member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. I joined and was initiated in the spring of 2006 at Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University. I was number 1 of 31. Line name no nonsense. Go ahead and drop those stats, Dr. P.
So I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. I'm actually a new initiate from 2020. It happened right before the world shut down, literally like a week before the world shut down,
I was
and I
so
was just like,
hurt because y'all
"Bruh,
couldn't have y'all show. I was
come
like, ah,
on!"
because you already know I was gonna be
Like
in the front,
my
standing right next to Jazz. His wife, like, girl, look at your man. Look at your man. Look at your man. You better shimmy,
I was ready to shimmy, but I am the ace of 6 members of my line, six
club.
dreams of Crimson and Cream. So that's me.
Okay, so let me, since he gonna say his name, his line, the 31 resurgence of the Blue Dynasty. Yes, And I brought that up to say, you know, to degree or not to to degree or to not degree, there are some perks to getting that degree. So, you know, a lot of people join their Greek organization during their undergraduate years. However, I'm gonna let Polak talk about this too. There's another option, but you have to have at least a bachelor's degree to do that.
Right.
So I joined while I was still in school. I joined my junior year. It was very hectic. It took a lot. So that means you're balancing all of your coursework and any other obligations, because I was also working on campus with Upward Bound. It is HBCU Alliance, helping the students come in the summer who were trying to get into FAMU, didn't get in outright, and tutoring them in math, English, and reading. And so it was a lot. I also had 6 classes that semester. Yeah, it was really crazy. And so it takes a lot of time. Again, I have 30 line sisters. There were 30 other women that I went
Mm-mm.
through the process with. So take that how you will. I love them all. I love them all. I love them all. And I was the first one. And so that comes with a lot of responsibility. People who are Black Greeks understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to join an NPHC organization, and that only comes if you are in a 4-year university or college for you to have that opportunity. Or once you get at least your bachelor's degree, then you can do what Dr. P did, because Dr. P joined through a graduate
In the
chapter.
alumni chapter. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So tell me about that, Dr. P. How did that come to be? Was this always something that you wanted to do? Because, like I said, I was booked and busy
Well,
in school, and so it was hard, but I did it. So, what made you
yeah.
decide
Mm-mm.
to wait,
Yeah,
or
like
was this always
especially because I
something you wanted to do?
transferred.
Okay.
Say it again.
I said,
I
or
was
was
gonna say
it
yeah,
something
especially because I transferred, so like I didn't know like the guys on campus at the time. Like I got to know them over time, but I was just like, it's like my last year now. Like I only got 2 years. Like after it was all said and done, I was just like, no, let me finish this degree. I ain't for to let nothing mess up my grades, kind of thing. And then plus I was working a lot of jobs,
yes,
so that I could be self sufficient
yes,
because I didn't want to ask my mom for help because she had 4 boys
right.
and she had my 5 cousins. So I was just like, no, I got to do this on my own kind of thing.
That's your mama. Woo!
So, I decided to just finish school and then visit it after. And I was like, if it's for me, then it will be for me. A lot of the men that I met after I graduated, that became like really good friends of mine and were just really good guys, happened to be Kappas. And they were like, bro, like, have you thought about it? And I was like, well, like, and so that's when I eventually decided, like, okay, this is when I'm gonna do it. And so I did it, and like I love my line brothers. Like no one could tell me that my process was different from undergrad just because of the experience that I got to have with them. And even if some people think it is different, I don't know what to tell you. Like I enjoyed my experience with my line brothers, and even after quarantine, or because of quarantine, I got even more close to them because I'm like,
Ah, yeah.
y'all the only ones I know. So
Right.
we got to really build the bond together, and just having people or brothers from different walks of life,
Absolutely.
in different like arenas. So banking, works for the government, works for the law enforcement, all of those different things. It's like, okay, like this is actually beneficial to have, to be a part of this organization, have line brothers, to have fraternity brothers, that are in these different avenues, these different spots. So
Absolutely.
I have loved my experience so far. Besides quarantine, but yeah, the world opened back up, so we about to be live. I'm waiting for homecoming.
Yes, he a whole Neo out here. Neo means new member. So when you first come out,
No,
you have all that agility and you like to wear your stuff every single day, you know what I'm saying? You like to, he might shimmy at any moment. I don't know, his shoulders might just drop, you never know when it's gonna happen. I
yeah,
actually turned I actually turned 15 this year.
whoop,
Still
whoop.
scrolling though. And so one of the things that we're going to talk about on a future discussion is specifically about Greek life and what that entails. How, if you want to join on the bachelor's level while you're in school, or if you want to join on the graduate level once you have that degree, all those ins and outs, because sometimes people don't know how to approach it. I wanted to next time or on another session too, Dr. P, talk about that funding you talk about. You slipped that in there, and that was so key because I was on scholarship, which is why I stopped the MBA program that was going to take longer than 4 years and went to the bachelor's. Because coming from first gen and from lower middle class, and I want emphasis on the lower in the middle class, I didn't want to ask my parents for money either, because at the most they could give me $50 a month, and I didn't even remind them about that all the time either. So we're going to talk about different funding sources, different ways to, if you want to degree, get into school, stay in school, different programs that exist, and then even if you want to do a trade, um, how to we'll bring somebody on too that went that route to see how to get funding for that. Also, I'm not married, but I got a boyfriend, and when he graduated from high school, he went to the military first, Air Force, and then made them pay for all his degrees. And he has a doctorate too. He actually has 5 degrees because he's even crazier than me, guys. He has a bachelor's, uh, 3 masters, and a doctorate. Yeah, he really cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And he's also in the Black Greek Letter Organization. He is a member of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated, the brown and the gold. So we're gonna talk about that on future episodes. I just really wanted to talk about, and that's why we have our stuff on
Well,
here.
since we plug in
Oh,
our
go ahead, go ahead,
significant others,
look, go ahead, go ahead,
my
talk
wife,
about wife real quick.
is a part of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. You know, those devastating divas.
Oh
Um,
Lord,
had to get me some pyramid level up in there.
look, oh Lord, look. So, that's why we have our paraphernalia on and everything, because I wanted to, show that we say this for our orgs, membership has its privileges, but that's the same case if you degree. So,
Right.
to degree or to not degree, there are some privileges. However, there are other things or other ways to get to your dream or to get to the career that you want that does not necessarily uh, make it necessary for you to get a 4-year degree. Sometimes you can just stop at a 2-year degree. And then a lot of community colleges now are having those trades. And so it can still be an environment
Yeah.
where you end up having an associate's degree where you still get a piece of paper, you still get a diploma, certificate. Certifications are good, if you don't want to get a 4-year degree. And so those are different areas, and we're gonna try to make as much content as we can for you because, like we said on our welcome video, we're really doing this because of our love for education, our love for our melanated brothers and sisters, our people of color, to give you just our background, tell you what we did, how we navigated our pitfalls, our wins, our losses, the different ways that we had to navigate to get where we are. And we really want this to be a space where we can bring on people who know more about that than we do
Yeah.
and just tell you every way that you can get your bag, really get your money up. We're going to talk about investing, 401ks, all that kind of stuff. We're going to do everything and try to educate you in all aspects and any aspects that we can think about. So, you good, Dr. P? You got anything else you want to say?
We'll save it for the next episode.
All right, we're gonna try to front load some episodes, you guys. So don't be thinking that we nasty if you see some episodes and we got the same shirt on again. Okay, because that's not the case. We're trying to get a whole bunch of content out here for you all as quickly as possible. Dr. P already told you he got a wife and 2 kids, and he booked and busy. And I don't have a husband or kids yet. However, I'm still booked and busy. And I also serve at our university as the graduate lead advisor for the undergraduate Zeta chapter.
Hey.
Ooh, and their last intake class was 42 people. Woo! Yes. So I'm navigating that and, helping students with their doctorates during their doctoral season. Um, Doing a little singing. I know Polar gonna be trying to get the deets on that. I'm trying to get him to
Let's
sing
sing
y'all
it, Sam.
too. Listen. So we're gonna, up as we go along. Of course, we're gonna up our visual value, our sound value. I done wrote this little theme song, y'all. So in the comments, if y'all want to help me push
Dr. J
Dr.
gonna sing this song.
push Dr. P to help me sing this theme song that I came up with, because he told on himself. I wasn't even gonna say nothing. He said he loved to sing. So I'm trying to push him, y'all. Yes. So we thank you for watching this episode. We love you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace
Be
out.
easy.